Okay, so have you ever felt like the internet is just going completely off the rails and we're just kind of all holding on for dear life?
I think we all feel that sometimes, right?
Yeah, and today that's actually kind of what we're going to be looking at, unpacking basically how scandals online can just explode and become these huge things. And we're going to look through the lens of the KATE CORNETT controversy. Remember her?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was a huge influencer, like fashion travel. And then, bam, suddenly these allegations come out about a relationship with her boyfriend's father.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was all over the place. So we're going to be taking a deep dive today, going through a study called KATE CORNETT, Escándalo Viral y Cultura de Internet, which is interesting because it's not in English. So we're hoping that maybe that'll provide kind of a fresh perspective on things.
Yeah, and what's really, I think, fascinating about that story, and really stories like it, is that it really touches on something so primal. Like this taboo nature, the accusations, it's like gossip, but on steroids. And our brains are really wired to latch onto these salacious stories that are shocking, and the internet just makes it effortless to spread that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's like everyone instantly becomes a detective, like they're on the case. And the study actually mentioned that within hours of the initial post, about the allegations, CORNETT's engagement just fell off a cliff, thousands of followers gone, comments, disabled brands were like, nope, we're out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like the whole 9 yards. And it's really just this stark picture of how quickly things can just completely unravel online.
Yeah, and it all kind of plays into this whole psychology of online mob mentality, where there's this thing called de-individuation, which basically is when we're all behind these screens, we feel a lot less accountable for the things that we say, and then you mix that with the diffusion of responsibility, well, everybody else is doing it, Right. And so you get this recipe for these really intense and often irrational online pile-ons.
And it's so easy to forget that there's an actual human being.
Yeah.
Person on the other side of the screen.
Oh, yeah.
So how does this whole CORNETT situation illustrate the bigger issue of internet culture and this whole thing with scandals online?
Well, think of it this way. Even if the rumor is completely disproven, the damage is done.
Right.
It's there, that digital footprint is indelible. It's pretty much impossible to control a narrative in the age of the internet. And the study actually uses this phrase, el espectro digital, which I think is such a powerful way to describe it. It's like this digital ghost that just follows you wherever you go.
That's a little haunting, if I'm being honest. Yeah. And it makes you think, with algorithms pushing whatever gets clicks, are we all just feeding this beast?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The entire way that these platforms are designed is to keep you engaged, to keep you scrolling, to keep you on the platform. And controversy is like catnip for engagement. So the more outrageous the content is, the more likely it is to go viral, even if it's completely false.
Yeah. It's almost like a race to the bottom for our attention spans fueled by these algorithms.
Yeah.
So where do we fit into all of this? Where do the users fit into all of this? Is it even possible to have discussions online about these things responsibly?
Well, that is, I think, the million-dollar question. It's like walking a tightrope because on the one hand, the internet gives a voice to everybody, which can be a really good thing.
Right.
But on the other hand, it can amplify the worst of human behavior, And so maybe the key is to approach these situations with a bit more empathy and to actually think critically about what we're seeing.
Yeah, so it's not about just avoiding these conversations altogether.
No.
It's about engaging with them, but in a way that's informed and thoughtful and maybe a little less knee-jerk.
Yeah, exactly, because this isn't just about KATE CORNETT. It's about how we as a society are navigating this constantly evolving landscape of information online. And I think it's about recognizing the speed and the intensity and, yes, the permanence of the things that we put out there online.
Yeah, and it's something to really think about, I think. And we've covered a lot of ground today, going from psychology of these online mobs to the algorithms that are shaping our feeds constantly. And it's a really complex issue with no easy answers.
Right. It really makes you wonder, what will the future of these online scandals look like? Will we as a society develop better tools to figure out what is true and what is not online? Or will the thirst for sensationalism just continue to dominate our attention? I think that is something worth pondering.
Definitely food for thought, for sure.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the KATE CORNETT controversy, and we'll see all of you next time.